How's it going, everybody, and welcome back into another video. Today we're going to be making some baits, as we just got an order for 3 different packs of baits. 2 of these I haven't made before, so that's exciting because obviously I get to make some baits that I haven't made before, and one of them is our best seller. So we're going to start with the 2 new ones, and then we're going to make our best seller. But this first one we're going to be starting off with is going to have purple tip, a black body, and some purple glitter. So we're going to go ahead and make the first part of the bait first. I don't have a actual mold for just the tip of the worms, so I'm just using my worm mold, and then I'm going to cut the tips off of all of them, and then I can use that for the body. So we're going to go ahead and throw our plastisol in the microwave, and then we can put in our purple colorant once it's up to temperature. All right, we just got our plastisol out of the microwave, so we're going to go ahead and stir this up a little bit, and then we're going to use our June bug colorant today for the purple. I like to have a darker purple, so that's what I'm going to go for. I only need a little bit of this colorant, or a little bit of this plastisol, sorry, with the purple. As like I said, we just need it for the tips, but I figured I can probably turn this purple just simply back into black by adding enough black colorant, so I just have this. I'm pretty happy with that purple, so I'm going to throw this back in the microwave, and then I'll check again. If I want it any darker, then I'll fix it there, but I think that looks pretty good for now. We just got our plastisol back out of the microwave. So I think I'm going to add just a little bit more, just to really give it that nice dark purple. Because I want to see if it can match our glitter here as much as possible. I don't want to have 2 different shades of purple in a bait. So let's check our temperature here. Yeah, so I think this looks pretty good. This is probably as good as it's going to get. So throw this back in the microwave one more time, and then it can go into the mold. All right, we just let our baits set, so we're going to go ahead and check them out. We don't actually need the whole worm to turn out good, as long as the tips are good. That's all that we really care about. Oh yeah, that's a nice purple. That's what I was going for there. Those are actually nice as it is. Purple's actually one worm that I didn't do solid colors of last year, just because I didn't think very many people liked them. But once I got into vendors markets, a lot of people are actually talking about purple worms, so I started making them this year. But yep, all these turned out good, so we can use the tips from these worms, and then hopefully the 2 of these as well. We're actually going to run it one more time. I wasn't happy with how the last ones turned out, so I don't want to give any bad quality bait. So we're going to use the 8 of these. We'll cut the tips off for these, and then we will use what other 2 turn out on the next one, and then we'll be ready to actually make our worms. I just finished all the purple, and I've got the tips here. For now, I just make the full worms and then cut the tips off because I don't have a mold for just the tips. Hopefully soon, but I find this works just fine. All right, we got our tips all in there, so we're going to close up the molds, and then first I'm going to heat up this plastisol, and then we can try and change colors. All right, we've got our purple plastisol all up to temperature again, so now I'm going to add in just our black colorant to hopefully darken this up. This should work, normally does. You can change color to plastisol pretty easily, especially if it's black. All right, I think our plastisol looks good, so now I'm going to go ahead and add in our purple flake. I think this is actually my first time using purple flake in baits, so this is going to be exciting. I don't think I've used it yet for the year that I've had this. So this will be something new to see. But like I said, I've never made this kind of bait before, so if I like this, I might need to bring some of these to my vendors markets. I'm gonna add in a little bit more purple. I just want to make sure you can really see the flake. Especially in these baits, seeing that they're gonna have a darker body. I want to make sure there's at least that little bit of color. Got our plastisol now. Just from this little bit that I'm seeing, it actually looks super cool. The black and purple. So we're gonna see how it looks with the purple tip as well. I'm actually really excited to see how these turn out. All right, hopefully those turn out all right. I'm actually excited to see how these turn out. Like I said, we're making one of our best sellers today. That is a black body with blue flake and a blue tip. So I assume this is going to be pretty similar to that. Just the difference between purple and blue is pretty similar. But I'm still pretty excited to see how they turn out. So we're going to let these set, and then we can take a look at our baits. All right, let's check out our baits. I don't think these ones turned out, so I'm not even going to bother checking these. I think we ran out of plastisol before then. But, wow, those actually look super cool. But this is for the order. The black, purple tip, and purple glitter. Looks like there's a little bit of gold in there too. I don't know how that happened. Yeah, those look super neat. I'm actually really happy with the purple. All right, we've got our second batch in the mold, so we're gonna check these out. But yeah, most of these look really good. Why is there so much gold? Oh, that one didn't turn out either, but no, I'm actually really happy with how these look. It looks super good with the glitter and the tip. They're not the exact same color, but I actually kind of like it that they're a little bit different. I think the tip is a really nice color, and then the glitter adds a nice touch to if it was just plain black. All right, we just got all the worms finished for our first pack, and now we're going to be moving on to our next. So we're going to be doing our best seller now. That's our black and blue worms. So first, just like we did with the purple ones, we're going to start off with the blue colorant, and then we're going to add in our body, which is going to be the black and blue flake. So let's get this up to temperature, and then we can add in our colorant. All right, we've got our next batch of plastisol already. So we're going to go ahead and add in our colorant for this one. For this one, we're just add in our blue colorant, like I said, for the tip, and then we can do our black and blue after once we've got the tips all done. This is definitely one of my favorites. I've had so much luck on it this year. It's our best seller by far. And I think a big reason of that is just the amount of fish that we catch on it every single year. It's just every time you go out, if nothing's working, our black and blue always seems to get the job done. All right, let's check out these blue ones here. Dang. These always look good. I think these were one of the first ones I made, actually, just straight blue. So just like we did with the purple ones, just going to cut the tips off them, and then we can use that for our black and blue baits. So obviously that's not enough, so I'm going to have to get more plastisol, and then we can do the same thing we just did before putting it in to make the actual baits. So we just finished making all the blue tips. Let me get them in here. There they are. Very similar to the purple ones, and we're going to do the exact same thing we did with the purple ones. Now we're going to get some more plastisol, but we're going to get some black colorant and then our blue flake. I'll probably end up making a big batch of plastisol, just because these are one of our best sellers. And we have a vendors market coming up in November, so I want to make sure. Oh, I want to make sure I definitely have a whole bunch of our best sellers to sell there. But yeah, so that's what's happening next. So stay tuned, and we will make some more baits. All right, we've got our plastisol ready, so we're gonna go ahead and first add in our black color. That looks good there. So now we can go ahead and add in our blue flake. I think this combo always turns out really nice. The lighter blue of the flake really looks good with the black. So let's start with that and see how it looks. Yeah, I think I'm happy with that amount there. So let's stick with that, and then let's get this back up to around 350, and then it can go into our molds with our blue tips. All right, we got our baits all set, so let's check these out. Yeah, that one didn't turn out obviously, but these always turn out super cool. If I can grab it. Yeah. These ones here are our best sellers, our black and blue. With the blue tips specifically, but also just these black and blue ones here. These ones always turn out super cool. I'm really happy with the amount of glitter that was put in it too. So we'll get the rest of these finished, and then we can move on to our next bait. All right, it's the next day, and we're getting ready to make our next baits. But these look awesome. These are purple, black with a purple tip, and then our black and blue with the blue tip. These always look super nice. You can see these, but I really love the detail of the purple. I think it turned out super nice. So I think I'm actually going to make a few more of these for a vendor's market, but these always turn out super nice. So we're going to move on now to our white and gold baits. So start with our white. We got a big one of these. This is definitely one of the most popular colors, so I ordered some big ones. Don't think we'll need too much, because like I said, there's not a lot of plastisol. I just want to make sure it's not see-through. That's the main thing with white, is I don't want, see how it's kind of like cloudy? I just want to make sure it's not like that. And just a nice pure white color. I think that looks good there, so we can add more after if we need, but now we're going to add in our flake. Start white and gold. I actually have like no expectations for this. I don't think I've ever even seen this bait in stores. So I have no idea how it's even going to turn out, but I think it'll be pretty cool. I think the gold always looks nice with baits. Especially with darker colors, I find it really brings out, when you use it with like a black or a brown, I find it can really bring out that color. So I don't really know how that looks. I don't know if I like that too much, but I think I'm going to put it back in, and the gold flake definitely darkened our color, so we're going to have to put in more white, but let's throw it back in the microwave, and then we can adjust the colors if we need to. We got our plastisol ready, so let me throw on my gloves quick, and then this can go in the mold. I'm actually pretty curious to see how this is going to turn out. Let's see how this turns out. There's one there. I think we're only going to get two, but we'll try the third. Yeah, I think we only got those two there, but let's let these set, and then we can come back and see how they turned out. Let's check out these baits. Let's see this here. Bang. Man, I don't know if I'm a big fan of those. But they're not mine, so it doesn't really matter. I mean, it's kind of interesting. I've never made the white and gold, but personally, I don't know if I'd ever use it, but, well, I mean, I guess if it works, I'd use it. I don't think they're the prettiest baits I've ever made. I think I definitely prefer these ones, the purple and the black and blue. But, like I said, it's not mine, so who am I to judge? Alright, I think they're just about to be done now. I think I was being too hard on them. I don't think they're actually that bad. I think it's just because I've never seen them before. Because they're not like the ugliest baits I've ever made, that's for sure. I've made some pretty horrendous looking baits. In the 3 years I've been doing this, I've been making baits I don't even know how I got the idea that they would look good. So I don't think they're that bad. I've made some, like I said, some pretty horrendous baits. Some brown combos that I don't even know why I thought they would look good. Anyways. Alright, I think those are going to turn out. I'm going to try, and, I'm going to try and keep an open mind. And see if I actually like the baits. I'm going to put all my other opinions beside, and we're going to just look at the baits for how they are. Because, looking at them in the bucket, they don't look that ugly. But, like I said, I've never seen them before. I've never fished with them. I don't think I've even seen them in stores. But if someone ordered them, obviously they've got to work. So, anyways, let's let them set, and we can check them out after. All right, we're giving them some time to set, so let's check these out. Look how dirty this makes my desk. I don't even understand how that happens. All right. You know what? They're not that bad. I was acting earlier like they were like horrendous and they were the worst things I've ever seen. But they're really not that bad. They actually look kind of nice now. The white turned out nice. The gold, obviously, always going to turn out nice. But it's that nice white color that I was going for, that pure white, not kind of like a murky color. I think it's just like the two light colors that are kind of throwing me off. Because I never really do sparkles with white. Unless somebody asks. I've done like white and black. But like very rarely I'll do two light colors together or two dark colors together. Especially like glitter. So I think that's kind of what was throwing me off. Just because like I've never made anything like this before. But I think they're actually not that bad. I could see people definitely fishing with these. It's just the normal pure white worm with a little bit of glitter. Alright, let's check these out one last time. Oh, I just knocked my color over. Let's check these out one last time. And grab our worm and go. There they are right there. So there's a complete order. I'm not going to be able to package them because they all need to set for 24 hours before we can package them. But there's the finished order right there. We've got our white and gold. We've got our black and blue. These are our best sellers. And then also our purple and black. These ones actually turned out really nice. Yesterday I was kind of unsure about them, but letting them set, actually they turned out super nice. The only difference between these, obviously, other than the color, is the flake size. So that's another thing, that the flake is more visible in these. So I just added a little bit more flake in these to make it more visible. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how they both turned out. So let me know which one of the three baits are your guys' favorites and what baits you want to see me make next.